Philadelphia, are you ready?
They said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Everybody to another live edition of Brotherly Love Wrestling. And today, from whatever we want to talk about, but I think we should probably start with one of the most popular things going on in wrestling, and that is the appearance of, well, Miro, aka Rusev, and the impact that he made on Wednesday night for AEW. Do you think that I was taking a breath? But thank you for giving me the floor.
By all means, go for it. I will just sit back and I'll watch with everyone else.
Do you think it was impactful enough and to make him more of legitimate and not a joke with AEW? Welcome everybody to another live edition of Brotherly Love Wrestling.
For him to be considered a joke or not, I mean, all he did was appear and cut a promo. He didn't really do anything. I mean, I think it would have been, if we're going to look at it in a positive
Welcome everybody to another live edition of Brotherly Love Wrestling.
And done something at the pay-per-view.
Today,
I think
from
him being the best
whatever we want to talk about, but I think we should probably start
step out of his
with one of the most popular things going on in wrestling, and that is the appearance
of. I think
it
gives him a role automatically.
Miro,
and it doesn't put the main focus on him right away,
and
because
the impact that he made on Wednesday night for AEW.
If he comes in, people already.
Do you think that? I was taking a breath,
picture, but I don't think they're ready for that yet.
But thank you for giving me the floor.
By all means, I will just sit back and I'll watch with everyone else. I don't think that they're going to put him versus
do you
Moxley
think
up there.
It was impactful
right away
enough,
or at all, because
and to make him more legitimate and not a joke with AEW.
Hey, it's way too early to. That's all they ever do. So
for him to be considered a joke or not, I mean,
all he did was. I think if you're thinking about it too much, then yeah, it becomes a problem. But I think it was. I think him showing up. I mean, as different as he could possibly look, he does. I mean, he bleached his hair blonde, so he went 1995 on us. And I think it's fitting for him. I mean, he's always been kind of an interesting personality. He's always been someone who could get over no matter what he does, whether it's his in-ring performance or it's his actual character. So I think him actually being highlighted in any way is better than what he has been doing.
Now, the best man thing, I remember reading that it's going to be like a Mr. Perfect type thing. That he can do anything, that he's the best man at whatever he's doing. I mean, what do you think with that gimmick? You think it'll work in an AEW?
I think it'll work. I think all throwbacks tend to work when the right person is doing it. I think Miro, a.k.a. Rusev, is one of the better people to try and pull off a gimmick that has been done before and put his own spin on it. I think him being the best man, and that if that is his gimmick, is to be the best man, I think he'll flourish in that. And I don't think anybody else is doing anything like that. You don't have any characters like Rick Rude or the narcissist Lex Luger or Mr. Perfect or anyone that's the model Rick Martel. You don't
joining us live
like
on the line.
Anymore. So if they were to rehash something, I think it'll be a success. It'll be looked at as, oh yeah, it's been done before, but everything's been done before.
Everything
and it's
in wrestling.
Time for a character to be that arrogant and have there's a difference between being arrogant being arrogant and also having a gimmick at the same time.
Well, I mean, and you got two. I mean, I wouldn't say.
And obviously, Bully, we are going to break down Fastlane from last night, the final pay-per-view, until we get to wrestling.
He doesn't have like a
foolish people.
I'm just so confused.
I'm one of the worst governors of all time.
And that's he's really good at it. If you have a character behind your arrogance, I think that'll But if he's going to be white, yeah, who the hell knows how he's going to play out?
Well, that's
interesting. You have these matches with Undertaker in 2010. But just in case anyone doesn't know, Sean had a match with Vladimir Kozlov and the winner faced Undertaker WrestleMania 25. That could have gone a very different way. A really shitty way if that had gone the other direction. We wish Vladimir nothing but the best. But Vladimir Kozlov applause. Lane Dublin. So, did you know that you have the WrestleMania 25 match with Undertaker, which just
because I think genuinely
steals the show. But the year before, you retire Ric Flair in the retirement match. When the WrestleMania 25 match finished with Undertaker, everybody's raving about it. Did you kind of realize at that point this could be part of a story that leads to the end, or were you still not thinking that way at that point? Because after WrestleMania 25, you had a few months off, and then you came back around SummerSlam. But when did you know? When did you go? Okay, I think it's time now.
Well, actually, I told everybody the story. So no, I wasn't thinking about retiring or anything like that after the Rick match. It wasn't until the drive home, because we had the WrestleMania in Houston. So we're driving back to San Antonio, my wife and kids and I. And of course, it's one of those times where you go like, man, that was pretty special. And so, because I'm not allowed to drive, my wife's driving us, and I said, honey, I said, I'm not sure, but I think maybe I should have ended it on that one.
They want to know that you're pissed off. They want to know that now that you have. You're in the spotlight. They want to
not sure if it gets much better than that.
Oh, well, looking back,
I said, that just felt. I said, I've got a feeling of.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Complete peace. I said, I could walk away right now and be 100% okay with it.
The biggest heel.
And she was just blown away by that. She said, well, maybe
you could just be all pro WWE.
Something to start thinking about.
This company doesn't know.
Ready to have you home.
The company that I was at before
really
knew their shit.
It's one of those things you say it. I'm very bad about the next day. I'm like, it's going.
Who could do it?
We're getting about it. We're enjoying the summer. We're getting ready to go into spring break and then the summer, and so we're enjoying that. And I like everything. Like every time I took time off, about midway through the summer, Michael Hayes calls me, and again, he's always talking about next year. You know what I mean? It's one of the things Michael was always fantastic about, because he was always trying to think of something special for HBK at WrestleMania.
Throwing in
and so he
shades of Vince McMahon, and that was
just throw this out there.
His character around. If someone came out and blatantly said, "I'm the cheerleader for the other company," they just let me go.
What do you think about it?
And
what are you thinking about it? Because you talked about it here and there,
get over really quick, people would hate it. But I think people would catch on and they would eventually enjoy it, because it would kind of be a mockery at the same time.
Exactly.
We can figure out something.
Right. I think the Bucks and Cody was
and it's true, right? I mean, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
But it would be hysterical.
It would be
hysterical.
Well, I'll say this in the years since I've left. Wrestling fans have even come up with ones.
And the
people
Taylor
came back and said it's okay, or he demanded you to come back. You could do it, right? So, I mean, clearly when you guys are coming up with them, you can't really blame them. You can't blame the wrestling business for coming up with them. So, but as I said, well, you know what? I said that's pretty cool. So let me think about it. We were actually talking about that. I said, but it's something I got the whole summer. I'll continue to mull it over. Anyway, once again, it was like, it's gone. And so,
I did want to talk about something else.
I'm coming back, and so then now it's Slammy Awards time.
Will always be
over
the
four matches a year. And of course, it pops into my head that, like, I wonder, like, are we going to do this thing? Yeah, by this time now, I've been back a little bit. My wife and I have talked about it. I'm like, I think I'm ready to wrap it up. And so, but I haven't thought about the Undertaker match or anything else. So I'm about to go out and accept this award, and I'm running around like now thinking about, hey, if we're going to do this thing, wouldn't this be a great time for me to go out and accept the award for match of the year? And go ahead and challenge Undertaker, put my career on the line or whatever, however you want to do it. So this pops into my head. I run and get Michael. I tell him, he's like, oh my God, do you want to do it? And I said, well, I don't know. I said, it sounds like a great idea. I said, it's just something to think about. Other than that, when we go out and say thanks for the award and whatever. Instead of just trying to think of something to make this more impactful or whatever, if we're going to do it, let's do it.
I always pander to
no, you can't just do that. We got to go. shows going on, Vince is up at Gorilla, we're up there, we're all talking about it. And so it's, once again, almost felt like, the Raw is back in the Monday Night War days. It's a little bit of chaos, like, right there at the Gorilla position, and, the awards are going on, and we're slowly getting to the, match of the year award. We're talking about it. And finally, I said, look, let's just do it. It's not like we usually do.
I want to walk all over the place because that's what we do best anyway.
That's going to be that.
So Retribution, it's still a storyline that has me. I still like it, but there are things that I think are inconsistent, and whether that's just WWE or them handling this storyline, there are little things that may seem nitpicky, little nuances.
All right, you're okay to rematch WrestleMania with The Undertaker?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess so. He goes, hell, I don't know. What do we do?
Graphic.
I said, look, I'm going out there. Me and Mike, we're just having this
there's a rebel group that's coming in and running.
There shouldn't be what it is we're trying to do. Well, sometimes, believe it or not,
they're coming. Yeah, the lights should
see on TV is not always house.
They shouldn't have any wherewithal that these guys.
And so, I said, I said, I'm just going there. And by this time now, they're making the announcements, others doing stuff.
Correct.
So,
he's like, all right, I'm just going to go there.
Yeah,
everything should be done.
That's honestly how that came up.
To keep people interested.
It's funny because Taker tells us.
Okay, we didn't plan this.
Tells the story now, and that's honestly how he found out what he was doing at WrestleMania that year. He's sitting at home watching Raw. I made the challenge. And he did.
I mean, look, he said it and blaming whether it be WWE or AEW for that matter.
It's a machine. They can't, because they've done it for so long. They feel like, we have to change it. We have to change it.
Yeah,
I mean, what they had to change wasn't
get an instant bonus up to $500.
They just had to give a little leeway, maybe hints of do it right here and trying to develop these people's heads, not giving entity of groups. Now
he texts both Vince and Mike.
Well, and the biggest thing is everyone wants to say, well, it's pro wrestling, we're going to suspend belief and
you want to have this creative match, and like,
this is supposed to be reality based. It's supposed to be people taking over. Then you got to keep it reality based and keep things that are typically happening if someone would be taking over the roster. So if you get beat up, and they're all beat up, and they're all down on the ground, you have a good guy up. Shouldn't you go for the mask? Shouldn't you try and hold to see if there's anyone over there? And at least attempt to and get stopped. But some little things like that are missing the mark. Just to make it more realistic and a little bit more entertaining and hopefully a little bit. I've honestly...
Please don't super kick me. No, stop chatting. So you have the match with Undertaker, and we keep going, and there's that placebo song run up that hill, and the story of leading up to that is you're losing your mind. Can you win the Royal Rumble? Because Undertaker says no, and you go through it, and then you have the match. And that was the last match. I think everybody here remembers that it was great. The main event of WrestleMania 26.
I don't think it's going to have the same effect as...
that was the last one, and I don't think you could have gone it a better way. And does it still live up to you now 7 years later or 8 years later that that's how you chose to go?
I mean, it does to me. I guess because the thing is, for me,
I mean, maybe that's the point. I mean,
I look at it
make a name for themselves
as I do with so many things in my career. I look at the arc of my career and the arc of HBK. He can't. It's the heartbreak.
Keep people interested.
He can't. But the thing is, he can't go out on a winning note. It's got to be heartbreak. It's got to be.
I mean, if you look at the names that were.
It's got to be vulnerability. It's got to be suffering. It's got to be an uphill battle. You know what I mean? And so.
I mean, I
couldn't. For me, I couldn't choose a better way, a better guy, a better story, a better scenario.
Can stay up there.
You know, again, just and also with the history of Taker, the two guys that have been there the longest amount of time, and you know, just even the arc of our relationship over the years, and what we sort of created with one another. So yeah, I mean, for me,
and you know what, the thing that
I guess I get the luxury of looking at
a bunch of people that
in totality
didn't get the right shot that they thought they should have. They got passed over, blah blah blah. It's why Retribution is what it is.
You know, the growth and the evolution of the guy on TV
it's Yim,
with the other guy. on TV.
Oh God, who else?
And then I get to do it with the two guys in real life that aren't on TV. And what they've shared, and I get to watch all of that happen over 25 years. And the culmination of all that, and I go,
oh, and Martinez,
just doesn't, you can't,
all those have been featured
you can't
and
write it
gotten
better than
shots
that.
and
You
been
know
in
what
the
I
main
mean?
event.
And so it is just, that's why honestly, that's why it is honestly 100% so easy to stay away
especially when
and to not
recently
do it again, because I look at that and I go, it's beautiful. I would want to mess with it.
If it's the payoff that we're hearing, if this diagnosis and all that, they've gotten shots. They just top names in NXT. Why are we getting Retribution? Why are they Retribution? They are very good top athletes in NXT. There's no reason they're going to Retribution for. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this doesn't add up if it's the people we're seeing. Now, if it's the people we're not,
a lot of it doesn't add up anyway. I mean, they don't really have a purpose.
Yes.
They don't have,
because we don't know the whole story yet. We don't know. We're getting very, very little parts of the story every week now.
Don't you feel like there should be something? And why don't they don't show up for pay-per-views though?
Well, they didn't show up for SummerSlam.
Or the one after that.
Yeah.
Backlash? Yeah, Backlash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're supposed to be this big, threatening entity, why wouldn't you want to cause havoc on the biggest shows where the most eyes are? I mean, see, there's a lot of holes in this storyline, and it's starting to get away from them. Where when they first came around and they were doing the chainsaw to the fucking ropes and shit, that was weird. That didn't really do anything for me. But they kind of dialed it back, and they started to get people a little bit more interested in it. But I feel like it's slipping away again, and people are starting to be like, all right, well, when are we going to get to? Because people want to know the payoff, but I feel like people are afraid to know the payoff because they think it's going to be predictable. So in its predictability, they're kind of holding off. Mm-hmm. Maybe they don't have a set plan. Maybe they don't have set people yet. Maybe they're waiting for maybe one more person, a big name. Because really, what are they fighting against?
They need a big name. That's one as a leader. You need that big guy that's going to shock and awe, but then also bring legitimacy to this faction. And then you need a story. You need why. Why are they Retribution? What are the stories that they've been cast aside?
What if this is all like a big storyline to get Lars Sullivan back in the company?
Hey, how are you?
Over? How pissed off?
Good. How are you?
Very,
what
very.
If that's the payoff?
Yeah.
Because couldn't you see Vince doing it and be like, "This is my guy. I don't care what the internet says. This is still my guy. This is still my monster." I could completely see him doing that and completely messing this whole thing up.
I could see it, but God,
I hope I didn't just speak it into existence. But I can really see that being like the big payoff.
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm Larry.
I hope not. But we'll see. I mean,
you just ran out.
A lot has to still form. I'm not going to give up on it yet because a lot of the story hasn't been told yet. So hopefully something means something. It has to mean something. It has to make sense for anybody to want to keep watching and care.
So we saw them come out and we saw them interfere in the main event because WWE doesn't like to give a decision of an actual winner, so they decide to throw hoopla in front of it.
Yeah.
So they come out and attack McIntyre and Keith Lee, and then the Hurt Business come out to take on Retribution. And there's like 15 of Retribution, and there's 4 of the Hurt Business. Now, what if, fantasy booking here a little bit, the Hurt Business also needs a main leader.
Yes.
MVP is really good on the mic, and he's kind of like your mic leader, but he's not your wrestling leader. He's not your big name leader. Lashley could be, but he's holding the U.S. title, which is a mid-card, so I don't see him giving that up and going for the main title.
Okay.
What if this was their in good faith trying to recruit someone? What if they were trying to recruit Keith Lee and get in his corner and have Keith Lee beat McIntyre and have Keith Lee as the main focal point of the Hurt Business? Because they need a main star as well. They need The Rock.
Yeah.
Sorry to make a comparison of Nation of Domination, but they need the Triple H.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
They need the Shawn Michaels. They need the leader. And I think Keith Lee winning that belt and being the main champion for the Hurt Business, and then you have them run the gamut. Then you make them legitimate. Then you have Benjamin and and Cedric Alexander, they go after the tag titles, and they run roughshod through the main roster of Raw, and they win all the titles, and that's how you legitimize them. They have their beast. They have two beasts. They have co-beasts and Keith Lee and Bobby Lashley. Was that maybe their way of coming in?
I think you're looking a little too far into that.
I know I am, but I'm saying, wouldn't that be...
I agree, it would. It would be a very good move for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. It would be a good move for WWE in general to go that route. And I know Keith Lee, you kind of want to see him as a solo, as his own person, but what if this is a way to highlight him even more, because he's got someone to talk for him. He's got a way to get over. It's the same. It would be the same scenario.
Yeah, no, it would be a good fit, and like you said, if they're going to really try and take over, you could do the mid-carder with Bobby if you really want to. If Keith Lee is going to be your main event guy, you could do the tag team, like you said. It can be a very dominant force in WWE for a while,
and it could eventually boil down to a breakup, which they always do, and set you up for a Lashley versus Keith Lee or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's right there for you. I mean, the storyline's right there, and it would be an interesting route to take. Mm-hmm. It would be something that would be refreshing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I would like to see that, but I don't think it's going to happen. One thing that did come out of that fight, I didn't like the double dive over the top rope.
You didn't like it because it was poorly executed? Or
no, it was...
Because I thought it was pretty cool looking.
No, it was cool looking, but
I thought Keith Lee has fucking hops, dude. He didn't even grab on anything.
Yeah, no. I'm not taking away the athleticism of
what did you like
spot.
about it?
Because...
You're nitpicking. This is a show about nitpicking.
I am, but listen.
This is a wrestling show about nothing.
Listen, again, like I said, with Retribution and the entire story that's built around it, if they are attacking and they are coming in after your roster...
They shouldn't be taken out by two flippy guys?
No, they shouldn't.
Even if their combined weight is 600
You should be like, hey, let's do double tope over the top rope. Okay, let's run. Run back and go do it. Like, you want to fight. You want to beat these guys up, especially Keith Lee. They took your title shot away.
Yeah, but that's
fight.
That's the WWE way. It's more of the spectacle over the storytelling and the sense making of everything. They've become everything that they weren't.
Yeah.
Actually, no. They're the same as they always. They never really highlighted the actual wrestling and the sense of the story. It's more of the big moment. The big moments. That's what they're there for.
Yeah,
the big moments.
Yes, the spot after spot after spot type thing. I just think over the top rope.
Not so much spot after spot, but they want the big flash. They want
they want making a memory or making a moment, and they always do.
At this point, they want to do send the crowd home happy.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it really does nothing for Retribution. I think they might have gotten hurt the most in all of this. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really doesn't show much for someone who has 15 people to get taken out by 6 guys.
That also, yeah. So I much would have rather them come over the top and Retribution scatter and just kind of land on Hurt Business, and then you don't kind of lose that heat with Retribution. They scatter, and then you have something going with Hurt Business versus McIntyre and Lee, where Retribution doesn't look as weak. But they're all beaten down by 4 guys, 5 guys. Yeah, it doesn't. You can go more realistic ways if this is a realistic storyline.
It doesn't help their credibility, but I don't think that Retribution, as much as, I mean, you want it to be something that's big and something that's meaningful, I think it's something that is going to be like one of those lost moments. Like, it happened, and it's kind of like it's going to break up shortly after it happens. You know what I mean?
Sort of like the GM, the Vince McMahon's biological child, all that.
Yeah, it's going to be like one of those. It's not going to be like the Shield, where the Shield was like a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
It's not going to be anything like that.
No, I don't expect that.
But even then, it could be, because what did the Shield do? They came from NXT. They were all brought up, but they made it an impact right away.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like it has the same type of pizzazz. It doesn't feel like it has the same effect like all the others that came before them that came up from the ranks and tried to do something. It doesn't feel like it's that important.
Yeah, I agree.
That could be who they're attacking, because, I mean, who did the Shield come after? They came after the top. Yeah, but McIntyre and Keith Lee are the top. I mean, it's like, who were your top guys? Like, CM Punk was there. CM Punk was involved with the Shield. I mean, you had better guys getting them over.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nexus had John Cena.
True.
I mean, you have megastars that are putting them over. These people aren't battle tested as megastars. There is no megastar in wrestling. So that kind of hurts it as well. So it doesn't have the same faux pas. Yeah?
I think you're right.
I think I'm right.
You're right.
It doesn't have the same value because the stars at the top aren't as credible as the ones that have put people over in the past, or are the people that have spotlighted them in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, Evolution was a different story. There were already 4 decorated superstars.
Yeah.
It's just that this group that's coming in doesn't feel like it doesn't have the value, because I don't think the value there is there in all of the product.
Yeah, I think I just got to tone down my expectation at this point.
I think everyone does.
Yeah.
I think there should be low expectations with, unfortunately, with everything that WWE does, because I think when you expect too much, they always come up short. Mm-hmm. If you don't give them the benefit of the doubt, they could surprise you. I mean, if you don't overthink it, because everyone is overthinking everything in mainstream wrestling. It's just what happens, and I think that's part of the problem. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone wants to tell you something and spoil something. So, I mean, if you just don't think about it, I think you would enjoy it a lot more. But to counterpoint that, I don't think that this is going to be that great anyway. Because I feel like it has a lot. I mean, there's been people that have come up and like have shined. I don't think that this is going to be that case.
It's unfortunate because if it's the names that are being spoiled,
here's
then
the thing. Like,
it's top names.
No one else ever needed like extras. Like, I feel like they have extras.
Yeah, they do have absolutely.
They have there's like 6 main people, but then they have extras.
Yes.
What's going to happen when they get unmasked? They're not going to unmask everyone. There's still going to be extras, and they're going to disappear. And they're going to be like, well, where the fuck's your posse at? Like, where are the rest of you? There was like 10, 15 of you there.
Yeah.
Like, why is it just you 6? Where are the rest?
Yes.
And I think that's where they're going to lose people too.
Yeah, like I said, it has to make sense. When reveal, everything has to make sense. It has to line up, and it's not going to, and especially the way they're building
it. Scott brings up a good point. Their purpose just seems to be there to cause no decisions in matches that they don't have a decision for.
Yeah, basically. But now it's lazy booking.
Basically a distraction.
Yeah.
To try and hide your 50-50 booking.
Exactly.
That's always one to try and get over on the fans.
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't catch on to you.
Not at all.
One of the sidetrackers, since we do have Scott here.
Okay. At least.
We have at least Scott. We don't know who the other mystery person is. Probably part of Retribution. But one of the sidetrackers, because during Raw, I was watching ROH Pure, the tournament as well. And I thought that was undoubtedly a breath of fresh air in wrestling watching. I mean, they have specific rules that they follow for the tournament. You only get 3 rope breaks, and so you don't want to go to the ropes. Even if you're in a submission, if you go to the ropes in a submission, it counts as a strike. You get 3 strikes, you're out. You're only allowed 1 open fist shot. That's a gimme. The rest, you lose points or disqualified. So they have rules that are there to guard anything else happening besides actual wrestling. And the people that, I mean, as depleted as you would think that ROH's card is and their roster is, they pulled in a lot of familiar names to kind of boost, to give you that indie feel.
Because Deppen is in it, correct?
Tony Deppen is in it. Wheeler Yuta was in it, or is in it if you haven't watched it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
He was going against a heavy favorite in Jonathan Gresham. I'm not telling you not to watch that. I'm telling you that this is different. It feels different. I mean, there's no fans, there's no nothing. It's just wrestling.
Yeah.
So if you're into the actual grappling and the wrestling and watching smooth transitions and stuff like that, and you're tired of the flash of the WWE and AEW seem to be more, they want to get over with promos and stuff like that, they give you a video package beforehand, and then they get down to the wrestling. There's a 15-minute time limit on all these matches. So you know it's not going that long. So it's really easy watching, and it's interesting.
And they have to get everything in that 15 minutes, so it's
all action.
More meaningful.
It's all action, and it's all in-ring storytelling. And if you're a fan of old school wrestling and stuff like that, then you'll really enjoy this. It's something completely different, something that you're not getting elsewhere. You might get like some of it in the indies, like you'll get a match or two on a card.
Yeah.
But this is all just pure wrestling. And it is, I mean, what you thought was a sinking ship, a sinking ship, is starting to, it's breathing a little bit of life into this company with this tournament. Well, I truly believe.
Well, and that's the other thing about Ring of Honor is that when I got turned on to Ring of Honor.
Thank you, Isaac. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac. I loved Ring of Honor because of the difference. It was a different presentation. It was different wrestling. It was more pure than a lot of other wrestling that I've watched. So I automatically liked Ring of Honor. Now, because everything's so all over the place with COVID, and I saw the bracket that they put out, and it looked amazing as far as the match quality from start to finish. It looked very, very good. I'm mad that I haven't watched it yet, but I can't wait to actually sink in and watch it.
But it's easy, and what I liked about it, yes, the wrestling's great, the in-ring wrestling, the video packages that they did beforehand, that will get you invested in people that you might not have thought you'd be invested in. Like their video packages were great, and it was surprising. I know that sucks to say, but it was surprising that ROH did so well on this. So it's kind of like you have low expectations, but like what I was just saying with WWE,
yeah.
You have low expectations. You're like, oh, shit, they surprise you. So ROH put together a great event and a great tournament, but they also highlighted everyone with their own little video packages and excerpts. So you didn't know everything about Wheeler Yuta when you like you see him in the indies, but you didn't know his backstory. You get backstories to people, which is cool. I mean, it was nice to watch, and it was something that I felt like I needed. I felt like everything was just getting too flashy, and with WWE, their storylines and everything, I just couldn't get, it wasn't simplified enough. Everything was too complicated. And then with AEW, I feel like they're always trying to one up, or they're always trying to play like the younger brother that wants attention. Like I feel like that drove me away from AEW. Like, yes, they have great matches and whatnot, but I felt like I needed, like, I just wanted to get back to the basics.
And where can people watch this for people that may not know?
I went right on ROH. I went on Twitter on ROH and clicked on the link, and it brought me right to the page, and you just hit play, and that was it.
Okay, cool.
I mean, it was really that simple. It's free, so, I mean, if you feel like you're getting ridden down by all the theatricals of mainstream wrestling, this was a nice change of pace. This was, and it's not overproduced.
Yeah.
Like, it's not forced. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's something that I felt like I needed. It was only, with everything said and done, it was an hour.
Oh, that's so worth it. Yeah.
But that was a lot of lead up.
Yeah.
And a lot of its video package. I mean, you got to figure there's only 15 minutes max of wrestling.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. I really.
So think of it as watching a documentary before you actually watch a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Scott Rand says Fight TV as well. So
okay, good.
On Fight TV, it's
even
free.
Better.
He believes. So don't take his word for it, but we never do anyway.
No. So I do want to touch on something that you actually tweeted out as a joke, but a lot of people are talking about it and are really suggesting that's true, and that's Lana last night squashed, put through a table, and you put it out as...
I literally meant this as a joke.
Yes.
I did not put two thoughts into that. I just kind of... I was like, yeah, this would be funny. And it turns out it wasn't funny at all. But I didn't mean it the way that everyone else had already thought. Like, I just said it as a joke, like, not thinking that she's buried. She's just being put in a storyline. And unfortunately, she's never been, like, the top person or the top draw or anything like that. She's always kind of been, like, either the sidekick, which she was with Rusev.
Yes.
And she was with Ziggler, I believe. And she is with Natty. So
and she was with Bobby.
And she was with Bobby. So she's never been, like, she's never been featured. When I put out that she's getting punished for Rusev, I mean, she's on TV and she's getting put through a table. I don't think that, I mean, in the wrestling business, that doesn't really seem like it's punishment as maybe a personal. I mean, I guess if you're looking at it as your job.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a hard line to cross. Like, this is your job. Like, that, I mean, people get put through tables.
Well, and that's the thing is that I was surprised because I listen to Busted Open radio a lot, and I was surprised today listening to Bully Ray break down Monday Night Raw and recap, and him talking, and he fully believes it was punishment.
Well, Bully Ray believes
but
it.
I'm just saying,
true.
No.
Because he has never worked for the wrestling business ever, and continues to work for the wrestling business.
I'm not saying it for that reason. I'm just saying, for someone who has been in that business to believe to say that and look at that.
I will always go back to this one thing that our friend Vic Delicious had said to us prior.
Yeah.
Wrestlers only want you in,
or let you in
for what they want you to know.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that anything that they tell you could be a smokescreen. It could be used for the show. And I think Bully Ray is one of those big time components of that mindset. I think he shares that same mindset. He lives in kayfabe 100% of the time. I think anything that he does and says will always be in wrestling form.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did shout out the Now, or one half of the Now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
While you're wearing the Now shirt.
Yeah, but I think that, I mean, it's silly if it's a punishment. I mean, it's silly to think that.
I think it's stupid.
It's silly to actually, like, 100% believe that, oh, she's being punished by being put on TV and being put, albeit not a great storyline or whatever. I mean, you're basically putting over the tag team champions, but someone has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like they're going to destroy Riot Squad before they go into the pay-per-view, because that would be silly.
Yeah.
You completely beat down the irrelevant team, which is Natty and Lana, and you make the tag team champions look powerful, which is what that did. It just so happens that they were innocent bystanders. Who else do you have out there that you're going to be able to do that to?
No, you're
not going to do it to Asuka.
Mm-hmm.
Selena Vega is now going to be put into a storyline with Asuka, so you're not going to do it to her. It doesn't make sense to do it to anyone else. You're innocent bystanders at that point. It's not because your husband just showed up in a different company. It's because you're kind of being used what you're being used for.
Yes.
I mean, it sucks, but I think that's the way that it goes, especially with WWE. There's always going to be that lesser group that just plays into that type of wrestler, is that the people that are always going to be buried.
Yeah. So I want to do.
Lana's always been that. I don't know. Really, what are people? What did you think, that she was like a former 3-time champion? Like, she's always been that. She's always danced around and done. I mean, really, who did they want to put through the table?
I don't know.
I know.
I don't get it. I don't get it either. I completely agree with you.
Punishment.
But
I mean, did she really get hurt? If she really got hurt, then yes, that's a punishment.
No, she wasn't.
Like, did they really, like, I mean, who was it? Was it Nia Jax that put her through the table? I mean, she could have got it. I mean, that could have been the punishment. Like, we're not punishing you, quote unquote, but there's a 50% chance that you're going to get hurt. Which, if so facto, that's your punishment. You have to take this from Nia Jax. I mean, if it was Baszler, I mean,
still,
she's safe. No, yeah. I think she's safe. I think she knows what she's doing. I mean, Nia Jax, she's. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We're throwing all caution to the wind on this one. Go ahead. You want to punch our biggest star who we're pushing to the moon? Yeah, sure. Break her face. There you go. Was Becky Lynch being punished?
No.
She just happened to be in there with Nia Jax.
Yeah.
She doesn't technically know what she's doing all the time. She doesn't know her own strength.
No, I don't think she does. No.
So maybe it was kind of maybe it was a punishment. We don't know. It could have been. Now that we think about it, now it could have been a punishment. Anybody else that would have been putting her through the table wouldn't have been a punishment. Nia Jax?
It's Nia Jax.
Maybe.
That's why. Yeah.
Maybe it was. So who were we to say anything? Maybe Bully was right.
You said former champion. So I want to go to Mickie James and this weird finish with Mickie James now, and people calling it, I swear to God, I saw 4 or 5 different tweets with this, the Thunderdome Screwjob.
The Thunderdome Screwjob.
I swear to God.
What does that even mean?
Because last night, Mickie James was the last opportunity she had at the title. Her career's winding down, and she never tapped out at the end of the match.
Yeah, no, it was weird, but it looked like she was get ready to give up. I don't freaking know.
And that's the whole point, is she didn't tap out.
I feel like
she wasn't passed out. She wasn't injured, and
They goofed.
Stop the match. Exactly.
I feel like it was a goof.
Exactly.
They goofed.
But for people to be looking into this deep and saying they're doing it on purpose, and
Jared, how are you?
I can't see that. I think people overanalyze, I should say, a lot of stuff.
Well, here's the thing. It was her last shot. It was this big thing. She was going against Asuka. There was a chance that she was going to win, but she got screwed over by the ref. Maybe they can salvage this, and this isn't her last shot. Maybe that they can work. But it seems like Selena Vega came in and cut a promo, and she's gonna.
That's the perfect point, because they put out a statement. Officials said that they thought they were hurt. They made the call from the back, so he stopped the match. She didn't look hurt. They didn't have medical officials come out to check on her. She didn't immediately grab her shoulder if she was hurt from her shoulder. I don't think she sold anything. Even when they were doing the Asuka feud thing, in the back you saw just the ref talking to her, but no medical attention. She was taken out.
The ref was probably getting reamed out.
And then
she was probably yelling at the ref like, what the hell are you doing?
She puts out a tweet saying, not like this. So I don't think she's hurt at all. I think this was a mistake, and maybe the ref read something in her face and reported to the back, and they called it.
He looked into her soul.
Forget it.
She's dying.
Yeah,
she can't do this.
I don't buy that it's an injury at all.
He got so confused that he was just like, I gotta call this fucking
match. Exactly.
I don't know what's going on. I'm in over my head. I gotta take a leak. Get me out of here. She quit. I swear she quit.
I just don't buy the Thunderdome screw job. It's a little excessive. I think it just boils down to a mistake.
No, you got to give it a better. It's got to be a gate. It's got to be. It can't be screw job. It's got to be like what was not Watergate. What was fucking Belichick's
Deflate gate?
Yeah, it's got to be something like that. It's got to be something gate.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that they did to screw Mickey James. I like Thundergate.
Thundergate sounds cool.
Yeah, not the screw job. There was only one. You can't. It's got to be a gate. It can't be a screw job.
Yeah, I agree with that one. So. Actually, probably going on right now. No, not. Is it 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock that comes? That the NWA match comes on. I believe it's 9 o'clock.
Okay.
On primetime.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I'm pretty sure it's 9 o'clock. Primetime wrestling on Fight TV. Aldis versus Mike Bennett for the NWA title. I mean, this for Mike Bennett or Kanellis in WWE.
I think he's going to be Mike Bennett. I don't think he's going to be forced to keep the name Kanellis.
Saying that.
I'm just throwing that out there. I don't think that's going to carry over.
I guess I got that. But this is a big proving match for Bennett because he was.
I think everyone that comes out of WWE, I think that's the same feeling no matter where they're wrestling. I feel like you had the same thing with Brian Myers. You had the same thing with Eric Young. You're going to have the same thing eventually with EC3. I mean, Brody Lee, Moxley, you name it. Mm-hmm. Anyone that comes out of WWE, I feel like their next match out, it's almost like they've been pent up for so long that it's almost like you've kept the dog in the cage for the day. Mm-hmm. And you haven't seen them for the day. You open that gate, and they're going to fucking come shooting out like a fucking cannibal. Yeah. I feel like it's going to be like... I feel like there's going to be nerves. I feel like with everyone, there's going to be the nerves that are going to set in. Be like, oh, what if I can't do it? But I feel like every single one feels like this is their time to shine. This is where I prove that I'm worth it. I think that if you look at who has come out and what they've done when they came out of WWE. I mean, you look at Moxley. Moxley came out and he won. Brody Lee eventually came out and he won. There's every one of these WWE guys is coming out and they're winning.
Yeah, I mean, look, Deonna Purrazzo
came out of WWE.
Eric Young.
Eric Young came out. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is their thing. Like they come out and this is look, we're that good. Mm-hmm. And we're going to take over every other company because we have something to prove. They have the notoriety already. They have the WWE name.
Yeah.
They have that behind them. So, I mean, for Bennett to be coming into a title shot, his first match out, this is big match feel. This is really, really big.
Yeah.
And I hope that he is highlighted. I wish that more eyes. I wish maximum eyes could be on it. Mm-hmm. I wish that there was something on TV that could be. I know it streams on Fight.
Yeah.
Which is great because Fight is great.
Yes.
But I wish that this was one of those like special events that was done on TV. So I feel like it is that. I feel like Nick Aldis doesn't get that credit of being one of the best champions.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now. I mean, he's like one of the longest reigning champions.
And he elevates the title.
He brings a certain prestige to a championship.
Yes.
Like he is on that level, but he doesn't get that credit.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he does. I mean, aside from the matches with Cody, I feel like some of his matches aren't appreciated. He's just underappreciated as a champion, which isn't great for the NWA product in itself. I mean, him being that good, I feel like NWA needs to find a way, new avenues for him to showcase himself.
Well, and Scott brings up a good point. They're doing this $7.99 every week for these pay-per-views. And not a lot of fans want to do that. And you're taking a percentage of the fans away who you don't have a big enough fan base as NWA to do this yet.
No,
I think you got to get them exposure, like you said, on a TV to do something.
Even if you do it on YouTube, I mean, YouTube is at least free. I feel like with this card that they put together, it's worth $8.
Oh, I agree with that. It's worth it for sure, but it is going to deter people from buying.
I think almost any. I won't say almost any, but I think wrestling, if you're going to charge for it, I think it's usually at least worth $8.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Like, I think anything that Fight TV puts on there, I think it's usually at least worth $8. There's at least 3 or 4 matches that are going to be like, all right, well, I got my money's worth. I think this is one of them.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the, if you go to Fight and you order this for $8, you're not going to be like, oh, shit, I spent $8 on wrestling. I feel bad. I feel like that's not too much to ask. But I feel like if you're putting stuff out weekly and you're charging $8 weekly, because then you get up to into $30 and you're paying almost pay-per-view prices a month.
Yeah.
I mean, you get 4 shows, but...
Well, look, and we're not saying that $7 or $8 is a lot, but to some people it might be. And
it adds up.
It does. It starts to add up. And not only that, like you said, I think getting the exposure for this company, NWA was on a roll before COVID started, and they
picked up traction.
Yes, exactly. They had a lot of momentum, so this really killed them. So to bring it back, I think, especially.
I mean, this isn't even all NWA though. This is
no, it's not
an NWA event. This just so happens that the NWA Championship is going to be on the line.
Yes. Yeah, but to bring the eyes to the NWA champion is a big deal.
Yes, and I think by doing with Mike Bennett, I think that does bring some added eyes to it. Yes. I mean, although he wasn't as a featured wrestler in WWE, he kind of had shit storylines since the get-go. I mean, had he been done right by that company, he would have had more eyes.
Well, I know that his sobriety as well played into him going away for a little bit with WWE as well, not just...
Well, yeah, he made himself better, but, I mean... WWE didn't really use that. They didn't really give him his due. So, I mean, he has the eyes and he's ready to perform, and he's going to try and prove why he was not used properly. And if you go back and you watch his ROH stuff, I mean, you see that he is a great wrestler.
Yes.
And I think this is what you're going to see tonight when he faces Aldis. You're going to get to see that great wrestler. No stupid gimmicks, nothing like that. No stupid storylines. Just a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Just a wrestling match for something. One of the most prestigious titles in all of wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, so make sure you watch that because it's worth the $8 for the pay-per-view on Fight. It is definitely going to be a hell of a match. Unless you have anything else, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. So just to remind people as well, speaking of great cards and being put together great cards, VXS is putting on a card. I mean, already, Legends Never Die, October 4th at the H2O Wrestling Center. I mean, this card...
I like that it's a quote from The Sandlot.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
That's what I like.
Yeah, I know that the cover art
that's
of
what caught me.
Of the PlayStation cases for PlayStation games is
the cover first art. PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to Violence and Suffering on Twitter and you look at their promo videos for their match hype announcements, I mean, bar none, some of the best production value for a match announcement going today. I mean,
period.
You watch it and you're automatically hooked and you're psyched. I mean, in the people that Violence and Suffering have gotten, the wrestlers so far that have been announced, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have you have JTG versus Tony Deppen, and then you have Brian Cage versus Blake Christian. Both right there already. I'm already sold.
You want to talk about matches that you'd pay $8 to see? I would pay $8 to see separately each match.
Of course.
I think each match would be worth that separately. So I think they got a shit run the first time around with the 3 different venues, the ring shenanigans that went on, the cops being called. This feels like it's a blood. They got it, but it got them a lot of word of mouth.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, having all that and overcoming that makes this next show even bigger. Mm-hmm. This is like the mulligan.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're going to deliver because if you've seen like we said with that past event, the past event was amazing. No ropes, all the controversy that went into it, and they still absolutely killed it. So imagine once everything goes right, how good this event could be. So definitely don't miss Violence and Suffering, October 4th, Williamstown, New Jersey. It is definitely going to be a card you cannot miss. And I assume we'll be on Fight if you cannot make it. So other than that, I think that about wraps up the show. So we hope you enjoy everything that you've watched. And if you like this and you don't watch us on our weekly show, check us out at Linktree/215Wrestling on Twitter, Facebook, all and every platform that you can find us on.
Or if we make this a weekly thing, join us right here or possibly Twitch.
Yes, that is in the
upcoming weeks.
Yes, so we hope
we're going to be Twitch geeks.
I guess.
Is that what they're called?
I don't know.
Twitch geeks?
I don't know.
Tweaks?
We're
going to be tweaks.
Sure.
And on that.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We hope you enjoy.